week. Is this still for this?
Out of title.
Everyone's.
Oh, well, okay. Then we can see ourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
Guys,
hello,
you're
everybody.
going. Throw ahead. Throw the questions.
Hey, y'all.
Okay.
What's up? We got some questions here that folks have sent in for us. We got Colonel Nye, we got Dr. Al, the Chief Mind Doctor, we got Dr. Johnny, and we got Joe, and we're going to answer some of these questions. So if these questions don't cover what you want to know, send in more questions. We'll stand here for, what, 30, 40 hours answering questions if we have to.
I like it.
Why not? What's the first question, Dr. L?
So procrastination and self-sabotage has me stuck. So I'm guessing, how do we get out of that, right?
I just want to mention something I think is really cool is we may have 4 totally different answers to these.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think it's going to be that we all agree on one thing.
I agree.
All right, let's do it. So what do you got, Dr. L? You're first. Procrastination and self-sabotage has me stuck.
Right. So I'm going to hit procrastination. A lot of people may not know this or think about it, but procrastination is actually highly correlated with perfection, right? Mm-hmm. Perfectionism. So if we feel like we have to be perfect at something, we're actually going to be slower to get it started sometimes because we wait until we're like at the best moment. So I would say if procrastination has you stuck, take a look at where you're seeking perfection and then maybe dial down a little bit. That doesn't mean lower your expectations, but know that you have to sort of set realistic goals for yourself.
Joe likes to say perfect is the enemy of good enough.
Yeah, you know what I think of it, I believe in, you're going to hate me for this, but I believe in fire, ready, aim. Let's get perfect as we're going.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? But let's get going.
Right. I mean, you got to take the first step.
Got to take the first step.
So procrastination is just, to fix that should be pretty easy.
Take first steps.
Go.
Yeah.
Move. Get up. Do something, right? The self-sabotage, interesting, because then you would need the definition of that, which I would think I know what that means. And I would think all of you obviously would. But then yesterday, during one of the podcasts, during a doctor kind of redefined that and refocused my entire thoughts on it. When he was talking about the heroin addict and who said, listen, I'd self-sabotage. And said, no, because if you really wanted to kill yourself, you would have done it. Mm-hmm. You were trying to make yourself feel better. You weren't trying to hurt yourself. So it kind of puts things in a little different light. So not sure how far down the road that self-sabotage.
So maybe you
diet should, or not.
Maybe you should just redefine self-sabotage. If you're thinking with those words, or is that really what's going on, or are you seeking something else? Get to the root of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the doctor here.
Well, and I was going to come at it from a totally different angle and some of what you just said at the very end there, and that is maybe you're just completely bullshitting yourself about what's important. Right. So it's like, oh, I'm trying to get going and I keep stopping. No, because you're trying to do something somebody else said is important. Yeah. My parents really want me to do this. Well, of course you're not going to do it. Of course you're going to put off. If you honestly are putting something off and you honestly are self-sabotaging, I'm going to say you're pretending it's important to you. Because if it was like, I always say, are you tired or are you just bummed out? Like, if I have to get up and do the same commute every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 4 is pretty bad. If you're coming to pick me up in a helicopter who's going heli skiing, it's not hard at all to get up at 4 o'clock. So maybe that thing that you're not getting around to and that thing that you're self-sabotaging, it's because it's actually not what you want to do.
That's not your interest.
You think it is, but it's because you bought into somebody else's answer.
Well, almost everybody you've interviewed says follow your passion, follow your heart, do it, and find joy in what you do, those kinds of things. So again, if it may be the self-sabotage is what you're saying, it's not the joyous act. Yeah. So, Spartan racing is phenomenal, right? And it's obviously you or who you are. But it's not the only way out there to get fit. It's not the only way to be healthy, right? There are multiple tracks. Find the one you want and go get it.
I want to end with tape it up. Just tape it up. Like I got lots of people. I can't do this. My knee hurts. Tape it up.
I was thinking about Isaiah Kabazinski, who you just interviewed recently.
Yeah.
This guy had every excuse at every step to not do it. Most successful guy I've ever heard in my life on there.
Unbelievable.
So keep checking in. We'll have people tell you how to do this. Tape it up.
Yeah, tape it up. All right, next question. Defining moment in success or Spartan race. Don't understand that question.
So I know. When was the defining moment for you that Spartan race had become a success?
Yeah.
Well, I backed myself into a corner. By the way, I've financially helped a bunch of potential entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that were starting businesses, and many of them failed. And when I think back as to why they failed because I was doing the funding and they were expected to do the work. They weren't completely committed. Their back wasn't against the wall. So when I think about why did Spartan succeed, my back was against the wall.
You had no option.
I had no option. And I'm sure you see that in the military. I'm sure you see that in all the patients you guys talk to.
I had it out on the race today. I was racing and Alberto found me and started following me. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I got to make the rope. I got to make the walls. Like, all on camera. Yeah, and it totally was like, it's that accountability, but I was also back against the wall. The last thing I want to do, I mean, of course, the last thing I want to do is not give my best, but I also knew that if that was posted somewhere, my kids would see it. I want them to see mom conquer that wall, conquer that rope, and barrel in.
Did you guys ask for people to send questions?
Yeah, keep sending more questions. We are like a question answer machine.
Tell them
here.
Spartan Up on Instagram is a good place.
Spartan Up on Instagram. That's a good place to send in your questions. But
I can't find us live right now on
or
Spartan
comments
TV.
on the Facebook Live.
Okay, I can't find it on the Facebook Live right now. I don't know if we're going. So
We've got some more.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It is
are we live? All right.
We're live on Spartan Up TV.
I did the course today, carrying a sandbag, and like every course I do, I run into the same situation you just described, which is getting over that wall is tough. Getting under that barbed wire is tough. Getting up the rope is tough, but I'm like, everybody's watching me.
You're in a spot that's.
Sean McCarthy says it's great to actually see your faces.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Sean. I think he's talking to her. He's not talking to me. Tim, you pointed out just before this, we'll go under him. So
Oh, yeah.
walking. Watch this part. Sprinting. And it's because everyone can see them, right?
Yeah, right.
So just assume that people can
If
always
you watch the whole time.
You know, always run like Roberto's got the camera on.
Yeah, no, it's so great. Yeah.
But the question was actually for Joe about what was the defining moment. We sort of-
Right,
The
sorry, totally
defining
separate.
moment was,
What would you say to inspire an older person to get moving?
all right.
To finish
What
that
you
one.
would do, you would cut them off
Still on the
mid-sentence.
old question.
Before I finish the first question, so defining moment for Spartan, I would say I was half-ass committed until there was so much money invested that I had no choice, right? So I was at the rope climb. There was a ton of people watching. I was pretty committed, and that was the defining moment.
You're past the tipping point.
I was past the
There is
tipping
no
point.
coming back.
I've known you since when it was kind of a side project. You said to us, well, this was this cool thing you were doing.
Right.
Then you got to the point where,
It's got to work. It's got to work. So I guess the lesson for anybody listening out there, if you're doing something and you're going for it, get yourself so invested that there's no way out. Back yourself up against the wall, mortgage your family, sell your house, do whatever you have to do because that will force you to be committed.
Yeah. I like that.
How does that though back up to or with have a plan B?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, well, what were your thoughts on that? Having a plan
well,
B?
you know what? I don't have a plan B. And I know it's important to have a plan B, a fallback and everything else. You know what? Your plan B is you might have to start again from scratch, in my mind. Like the thing is, if you have a plan B and it's like, I can always go to this, you can always go to that, right?
I think if you have the safety net, you're prone to.
Well, you're
burn
thinking
the
he's
boats.
thinking from a military perspective.
Oh,
He's
Well,
got-
no. Well, maybe because I can't get
Right.
rid of my entire DNA. But I mean, I'm just saying if you're going after something, and you do fail, so what then? You know, what is your? Do
Just
you
an
go back at it?
Just
or-
an obstacle.
okay.
So I have a friend a while ago who he was asking me if they wanted to sell it in head, buy a sailboat, sail around the world for a couple years. I said, you should do it. He goes, what if it doesn't work? It doesn't work out. Cool thing. Sells everything he has, takes his wife, his kid. They get him in the sailboat 6 months later, they don't want to do it anymore. Okay, cool. Sell the boat. I said, it is so easy to step back in the TikTok.
Yeah.
You weren't happy before, so come back and you'll be happy next time.
Somebody said that to me very early in my business career. They said, I didn't want to leave my business and go to Wall Street. And they said, here's the thing, you're 24 years old.
Yeah.
Come back.
But
You can always come, right? Like, so
So in my mind, just do it.
just do it.
I saw a question on there that
are
was,
these?
Wait,
well,
those
I
are
want to-
questions flowing in, but
I want to do them in order.
that
we
right
didn't
there.
finish this question.
I
Word of
understand.
advice for your younger generation.
Here we go. This is a great example of doing it before you're ready. So a couple quick things. I want to get to this question.
You're right. I want to go to
What
this.
about that question over there? Word of
Ask-
advice for your younger generation.
Ask for mindset questions and introduce yourselves. So,
All right.
if you have any questions about mindset, please give them to us because we have some great people for that. I'd like to introduce my good friend Joe DeSena. Joe, CEO and founder of Spartan Race.
Yeah.
One of my new best friends, Laura Pence, who is a mind doctor, legitimately.
I know, right?
I need to throw a caveat in here. We've always called me Dr. Johnny because I sort of come from a coaching background. Now we always say Dr. and I say pretend Dr. Johnny. It's,
Right.
and not pretend at all.
You hugged everybody else.
It's Colonel Tim Nye.
So we got-
We're on a hugging basis now, aren't we? You were a big hugger at the start.
So we got military, we got a legit medical doctor, we got Johnny.
No,
who's
mind doctor. Mind doctor.
Well,
Yeah.
mind doctor, we got a hacker here, mind coach, and then we got me. I don't know
All
what I
right,
do.
I'm going to give an easy question
Yeah,
to
sure.
you. Hopefully,
Easy
you,
question.
Hopefully, you know the answer to this off the top of your head. Next to Gogi, when is it?
Next Agogi, we are going to be doing. I think we're doing winter
I assume
Agogi
it's February.
Yeah,
in
February in
Vermont.
Vermont. For February in
Yeah,
Vermont.
February in Vermont is pretty much every year, and then the overseas ones, whatever, rotate.
And then we're going to pick up a place in the world, and I think we're going to Russia. I thought.
But
I want to throw a quick plug in for Agogi, Vermont. Now that you've gone to Iceland, you've gone to Greece, you've gone to all these places that people get kind of think are sexy. Vermont, OG Agogi, original gangster. This is as it gets. Vermont's got, if you want the real deal, these other ones are exotic, they're wonderful at heart. Go get your ass kicked.
and if you have a slightly smaller budget,
Yeah, sure.
because it's not cheap to get to Russia.
No,
Yeah.
so, that's right, yeah. Unless you're coming from Russia to Vermont, then crack your budget.
Okay,
It's a less expensive.
I got a
meeting.
question. How do you feel creating new friendships in the Spartan family and outside of the Spartan?
Terrible.
How do I feel creating these friendships? I don't believe
Yeah,
it.
well, what's it like for you guys to bring? You guys have been doing this now for a few years. What's it like to have new blood?
I mean,
Is it
today
scary? Is it
we met some
exciting?
amazing people
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
right here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
But there's thousands of people outside as well.
Yeah.
And I know, just in small times, I see you walking around. Obviously, people know who you are, and they're around you at all times, But you run into just thousands.
I ran into dozens of people today that said, I listen to the podcast every day. I listen to it. It helped my life. I thank you so much. So we're making an impact. And it's awesome to meet those new people. And a lot of times we don't meet them face to face, but they're meeting us through media.
I thought too, for people who are wondering, if you as partners don't know anyone, we talk a lot about surrounding yourself with incredible people. And if you come out and you run this race, just in the hour that you're out there, you're going to be talking to different people, you're going to be high-fiving people, you're going to talk to them on the way back to the car. Make those friends, because they're the ones who are going to call you up and say, hey, we're thinking of going to the race out in wherever, and you'll go, as opposed to the friends who say, one thing that's actually not great is friends who go, oh man, that stuff you do is crazy. It's a great little ego boost, but they're actually pulling you back to the center.
Now, we're counting on you out there to help us change 100 million lives. We've got 1.1 million of you doing this stuff every year. Each of you has to go out and find 100 new couch potatoes, spear them, get them out here. By the way, we got 6 million friends.
Yeah.
Come hang out with our friends. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I either come make friends here or make your friends come here, and either way, your life's better.
And I would say this is like the therapist plug in there. It's never too late to make friends. Like I hear all the time, like, well, I'm 30 and like everybody has their best friends from high school. It's like the best friends that I have now, I have met in like the last 5 years of my life. Yeah. So just hold on to that like it is never too late. Make yourself available, open yourself up, and bring people in.
I'm trying to think if I met anybody I like.
I don't think
I'm kidding.
I don't think anybody likes you.
I know. I love talking to people.
I do have to say, and I told you this yesterday, a guy introduced me as a Colonel I's friend. He said, first time I've ever heard somebody introduce themselves that way.
Okay, next one. So somebody wrote that this is their 5-year-old son's favorite sport, which is amazing.
It is amazing.
So where will Spartan be in 5 years?
Quick, easy answer to that. Just change will to won't. And a won't Spartan race.
That's
Yeah, we're
awesome.
one
That's
That's right. That's right.
Where do you want to see us in 5 years?
42 countries now. I mean, we could easily double that, right?
But you're also, so that's scope, size, ability, right?
Yeah.
But what you're also doing, the race changes constantly. So you've got the three pillars.
Yeah.
Now you've got the entire stadium series.
Yeah.
You got the hero series.
Yeah.
You've got the Agogis. You've got the hurricane heats. You've added a canine heat. Talking to Courtney today, she wants a family heat. I don't know if she told you, but she said after run, I want a family heat.
Trail
so
series coming out,
right.
Urban series coming
So
out,
things
Spartan
We're still,
T,
we're still talking about the race. There's a leadership series.
leadership series, yeah.
So it's evolving. It's only becoming more expansive. So the chance of it being here in 5 years, definitely. But maybe it's a little hard to see that far down the road because it's
completely consuming your entire life. We've got toilet paper coming out.
So as a race director, what do you see in terms of the obstacles changing?
Well, it's evolving always, right?
Yeah.
And I've said for years that the real difference, and I know you get this. So I grew up windsurfing and I grew up snowboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Windsurfing is almost non-existent. And snowboarding has overtaken ski as the biggest winter sport, right?
Right.
But the difference was snowboarding, it was a fairly low bar of entry and you could get in with your family. And when I snowboarded with the kids, it's not, whereas windsurfing, real expensive, and I had to go away from the kids to find the wind, right? So I think you've done a really good job of making this something that you want to bring your family to. The festival's fun, you've got a kids race at every event. Yeah. And so I think, when we see how good the Hobies and the Isaiahs and the Novakovics and all these guys and the Hunters and the Amelias, sorry, I don't want to just focus on the guys, are.
Thank you, John.
There you go, yeah. But they started this as adults. Like you look at the kids.
No, I love that the kids are coming in. They're the next generation.
And so the thing is, the monkey bar.
My son beat Isaiah today.
Nice. Well, it's because Isaiah didn't trip.
But there's very few sports where children and their parents can participate together.
Right.
You know, you can go in the backyard and maybe play soccer with your mother and father.
Yeah.
But you can't go out and play a real soccer game or a football game or whatever. Here, you get to a certain age, you and your family are on the exact same course. You're doing the same sport. You're competing for the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing. Plus, you're also on a course with professional athletes. Again, unless maybe you want to go to a bowling alley where some pro just rolled a 300 the night before, very little chance of doing that. Right?
So what is the reason behind the podcast?
All right.
Why are we doing the podcast? You know, one thing that
That's
drives
a big
me
question.
crazy is that there's a bunch of people out there that have tackled another part of their life that's not health and wellness. So financially, they're super successful, whatever it is they're successful at, but they're not taking care of health and wellness. And so I said, we have to broaden our reach. There's a lot of people that won't come out and race.
Yeah.
Let's set up a medium where we could reach everybody, and hopefully we could bring them in. But in addition to that, we can tackle the mind.
I feel spectacularly lucky that several times we all get together and either directly interview or analyze interviews you've done of spectacular people. Like sitting here today, I leave every time feeling so elevated, motivated. And the great thing is for the people watching at home, where else are you going to get these people brought into your living room, into your office, into your car? Richard Branson, Jim Ferris, and then people that you've never heard of before.
That's
Isaiah
right,
Kaplansky blew my mind.
That guy today blew my mind.
Yeah, and so the cool thing is the people you've never heard of are going to be some of the ones that you're most impressed by. So to me, the main reason that I do it selfishly, so I can meet these people and I can make my world bigger, what inspires me is that making it accessible for other people who may not get to meet.
Yeah, and I think for me, obviously, coming in with the mind position, Spartan in so many ways has such the physicality piece, and the mind piece is there, but it's just not there in the more obvious way. So we have to integrate. Like your body is only going to be as strong as your mind, and your mind is only going to be as strong as your body. So you have to sort of put both together and create an integrated whole in order to really be the better human that Spartan is trying to make people be.
I would just say quest and search for knowledge, right?
There you go.
I mean, that's what this is all about. And it really, you were curious about some things. Some of it, I think, had to do with parenting and with the children.
Sure.
You know, and are you pushing too hard or pushing too fast?
We learned today, you are going to see this podcast, where we learned today that one of our successful guests that came on, his mom made him read 6 hours every Sunday.
That's great.
And so if you're out there listening, you're an adult, you're a kid, pick up the books. Tomorrow, you're doing 6 hours. It's going to be an agoge of reading.
but I would just rephrase that a little bit, okay? Because you said they had to, but really, you can't force somebody to read 6 hours. She inspired them to read, and she inspired him to learn to love learning.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can hand somebody a book. Trust me, I went to high school and say, read, and I can stare at the words all day long. That doesn't mean I'm reading. Right? So she didn't force him to read. She encouraged him to learn through reading.
Yeah. What do you got?
There were two very related questions that they're coming by us fast and furious. We're going to miss some. One was, how would you inspire an older person? You know, so I've got an answer for that, but I want to hear you guys first. So it also depends what you call older. Three of the four of us are older people now.
I was running the course. I ran into a 77-year-old first race.
That's
Did you hurt her?
I did not hurt her. She passed me.
That's awesome. I saw somebody posted the other day, an 81-year-old woman who ran with her daughter and her granddaughter.
Awesome.
I think just knowing that that's available to you, knowing that it's so doable. I mean, it really is so doable, especially if you've got that team with you.
Well, I think it's like everything we do. It's community, right? So a lot of older people wouldn't think that they could ever do this. So maybe actually we need to do a better job of reaching out to older communities in some kind of outreach program or something, and finding some of these older athletes to actually go out into the YMCA, into the silver sneaker class and that kind of stuff, and trying to recruit and get them out there and tell them they can do it.
I heard the question not so much about Spartan race. I just heard it in terms of how to inspire them, period. You know, somebody who's older and maybe starting to feel a little.
Well, right.
And I've got a really simple answer. You don't have a whole lot of time. That's no, but I mean it. Like if you're a kid, like what the hell do you have to lose at 70? You go like
If not now, when?
Crush it. If not now, when? Exactly. So that's my answer to the older people. Get moving. Like get
Right, you're running out of time.
All right,
Exactly.
we-
The other one was a word of advice for the younger generation.
Pete Scully says you guys are an inspiration. Who needs Richard Branson?
Who needs
Nice.
Richard Branson
The
when you got
world
Dr.
does.
Al and a fake doctor in
Virgin
the military
Airlines
guys?
guys. Virgin Airlines guys.
I want to get this in here as well. Doug Patterson, excuse me. So Doug, if you're out there, Doug wrote in and just said thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
So I
awesome.
assume
Well, thank
that
you
is-
for listening and
Thank you,
supporting.
Doug.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doug.
So the corollary to that last question was word of advice for the younger generation. So let's all honestly say one word, and then if we want to elaborate on that word, but let's not. So
I would say word of advice for the younger generation: move.
Cool.
That's it. Move. Somebody said to us today, we interviewed, still water gets smelly.
Oh, I love
See,
that.
Charlie
great.
Rocket.
Still water
even
gets
still
smelly.
water, yeah.
So get moving, younger
Yeah.
runts.
This Jane says.
We need to all
Well,
talk
I
about
agree. I communicate with my friends about my Spartan racing and find me an inspiration. They find me an inspiration.
Do we know how old this?
Doesn't
So
say.
this is Jane, you say?
Jane is
way to
saying,
go.
Jane is saying
Jane.
she's inspiring through Spartan. I love it. What's the word you're going to use for the younger generation?
Hustle.
Hustle. Dr. Al, real doctor?
love.
Love
Yourself,
is good. Love
yourself
stuff-
Love, you're
first.
so
Love
soft.
is tough to overcome. And I'll go the 180 degrees out, and I'll go sacrifice. Although sacrifice, I guess
She's
you sacrifice
62.
for love. I'd say sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Nice.
And Jane is 62, who said she's inspiring
Way to
folks.
go, Jane.
I love that.
So move, hustle,
Oh,
love,
yeah.
sacrifice.
Move, hustle, love, and sacrifice. I love it.
That's our word.
Those are our words.
Thank
What
you.
else? What else we got? We good?
I know. Throw some stuff at us. We got some more. On
We got
the
any
sheet
more
here.
questions out there?
I'm sure we do.
Let's give us a question,
Says
Erica.
yay for the seasoned citizen. Hi Joe, 73 here and 3 trifectas. Marla.
Nice.
73 and 3
That
trifectas
is
this
incredible.
year.
Awesome.
This year. She's
Awesome.
tough as nails.
You know her?
You'll get
They should
sick of
beat
this.
that other guy.
When
No,
we were
he was
in Toronto,
77.
We were doing podcasts, and we were, you know,
I think
friends
I
out
do.
other
Marla,
podcasts.
sweetie.
They handed me
But
one.
yeah,
I
I
went,
don't know her.
what the hell do you mean I'm on the seasoned
Okay.
athlete? I mean, she was great. It was an incredible podcast, but I'm like, well, I'm that guy now. I'm the seasoned athlete.
Seasoned athlete.
Yeah, so,
I like it.
Old people power.
Tell us about Oscar Mike,
What do you
Erica.
want to know about him?
Oscar Mike was out on the
Oscar-
course
oh,
today.
man. All
Bunch
right.
of adaptive
Slide in, I'll
athletes.
slide in.
Today we had 7
A little bit
above the
warmer
knee
in here.
amputees.
7 above the knee amputees.
Normally
Wow.
it takes us 4 hours to do it, and we did it in 90 minutes today.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. Ran into Joe on the course, like, Erica, get them to the right, get them to the right. I'm like, dude, they're on the right. So we got them through in 90 minutes today. And then I found out 4 of them are competing next week in our para stuff.
Love it.
Nice.
So what do we got next week? Next week we got a world championship for
For
kids.
kids, and we've got the World Championships first in history, OCR history,
For para.
for para adaptive
And
athletes.
they're coming from all over the world.
All over the place. Yeah, it was. Thank you.
Nevada?
Of course, Joe
In
flipped that up.
Nevada, yep. And Erica's dressed incognito. She's a special operation, I guess she's got going on here. Nobody even
That's
knows who it is under that black
That's
outfit.
exactly what they say, and they always ask me, like, you can't let 60 adaptive athletes through the gate right now because we can only have 15 people at a time. And I'm like, no, really, I can. And so, it's like this
These are
fun
not the
art.
parts you're looking
It's
for.
amazing out there, but they're doing their jobs. It was a great course today. I felt it was short. Did you?
Yeah.
I felt it was short
If
today.
quick.
for
It was.
any of the canines out there watching.
K9, San Antonio, March 9th. We're going to do trained animals that can come out with their owners, and we're going to run that race. So
Trained animals.
trained dogs.
Camels,
Sorry.
moose,
Yeah,
deer.
all just came.
I'm sorry, I forget about the
Rabbits.
peacock thing.
Well,
You're
that's
right.
Rabbits.
Animals.
Rabbits.
We define trained so people are at home.
So-
what would qualify an animal as trained?
That they support their owner in some capacity, emotionally,
That's
physically,
cool.
you know what I mean? That they,
That's
in
important.
some way, support.
Yeah.
So they're allowed out. That's San Antonio. We're reaching out for that. So
I got some weight for you.
We got Iceland. We got Iceland coming up.
Iceland, we have the para ultra team, which is Casey McAllister. Remember you sent me that guy from Mexico?
Yes.
I finally figured out
Nice.
who he is.
We've
So
got a lot of folks.
2 above the knee amputees. They do the course on their hands. We've got Earl Granville. He's going to be in Iceland. He's above the knee amputee, war veteran combat. We've got Andrew Einstein. So
So if you're out there and you're like, you know what, I've got this problem, I got a blister,
Yeah.
tape it up.
I had to do it today. My boots, these are the first time I put them on since my vacation. Remember?
Tape it up.
You
So
ran
I-
it in boots?
Yeah, so I had to tape it up because they hurt. It's the first time I put them on since Appalachian.
So this makes me think of a question. Who to each of you has been the most inspiring person in your own life?
Most inspiring for me is definitely the adaptive athletes.
Johnny Lopez, hands down for me.
Yeah,
For me.
adaptive athletes, so without a doubt. Even young kids. I saw some young kids on the course today that were pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, when you're talking our personal life versus, I mean, yes, there are plenty of names,
Right.
but you know, personal is personal. I would say for me, it's my uncle.
But we're going there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Then people don't know.
His uncle was tough as nails.
He
Tough
was.
as nails.
You met him. You know, he came to my retirement ceremony like 2 days after heart surgery.
Used to eat bricks for breakfast.
Personal for me was Joe DeSena, and everybody knows that there's a legend.
Yeah.
I know it's so
But
superficial.
by the way, if I
That
have
was not
inspired anybody,
planted.
it's the Spartan Tea speaking.
But it's true. You know my book, you know my Bible. We talk about it often. His first book that he wrote, that's what changed my life and changed my mechanisms.
You were a mess.
I was
So
a
if you're-
mess.
if you-
I was a mess, but I read that book, and anybody that sees that book's like, holy shit, what is this about? And I was kayaking and I dropped it in a lake at Fort Bragg, and I dove off the boat, lost my keys, lost my phone, lost everything, because that book was not freaking going anywhere. So I got it. So you know what happens? Books swell when they get wet.
You know,
And I
It's
always
like
said,
Joe's
You know, he
every
printed
and when I
one
get
book.
really pissed at him, I open it up and I find a quote, and I print it out and hang it on the wall.
All right, come here for the podcast.
Hey,
Charlie.
what are you doing?
Look at this. We got some young kids.
Charlie!
You want to see the future?
All right, this is Charlie.
Charlie!
How many times did you do the course today? 9
What?
times.
You
9
don't
times.
get it 5, you beat
Come
me.
on, guys. Come on, Alex. Be
What?
careful. Don't trip.
Charlie,
Come here.
I held the record
How
at
many
5
times did you do the course today? 10 times.
Oh!
Oh.
Did your kid just
Kate,
whoop me?
how many times did you do the course today?
Ah. Well, Charlie, did you do your burpees?
So if you put these two together,
Charlie did all necessary
Are you-
burpees.
Are you kidding? Do you know I did it 5 times one year for OEW?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I did, remember?
Yeah, I did.
And Charlie just whooped my hiney. Damn.
All right, we're going to do a kids podcast next, so we're signing off. If you need any advice or help, get in touch with the smart people.
Where can they find us? Where
I
are
don't
we?
even know. Where do they find
Just
us?
give him our email, Joe, or our phone numbers like
Spartan
you
Up
always do.
Podcast on Instagram, Spartan on Instagram, Spartan Race on Instagram. Find us on Facebook, Spartan TV. We're all there. Twitter. We've got lots of channels.
Erica,
Spartan.com/podcast.
ERICAW at Spartan.com.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Pretty cool.
All right.
All right.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, you know, I said, oh.